welcome and welcome back. So today I am really excited to be bashing more dolls. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago I did a video where I roasted some of the most awful Barbie fashionistas, and I feel like we can all agree that some Barbie fashionistas are just not designed very well. So you guys seem to enjoy that video, and I figured since that was well received, let's try to make a video that's like a little bit more controversial and talk about a doll line that's like a little bit more beloved and just roast them. So today I'm going to be talking about the Ever After High dolls that I think look the worst. I will say that overall I think that Ever After High had a little bit more effort put into the designs than a lot of Barbie fashionistas, so it was a little bit harder to find some. But looking through their catalog, I did definitely find some dolls that I didn't think looked great. So we are just going to be having a good old fun time making fun of these dolls. If you happen to like the dolls that I'm talking about, that's totally okay. This is just like all in good fun. I'm amping it up for the sake of comedy because I think I'm a funny person. So it's like not anything personal if you like a doll that I happen to think doesn't look that great. Also, I haven't ever seen Ever After High. I also haven't ever owned one of the dolls. So I am coming at this from completely an outsider perspective. Like, I know the concept and like the theory behind it, but I don't know any of the actual characters or anything. So I'm not hating on any characters. And also if a part of the design is because of a characteristic, I might not pick up on that. So those are kind of the disclaimers. Also, just as a stipulation for this, I didn't want to pick dolls from any lines that were labeled as budget lines. Like, I know there's like a budget ballerina line that all of them were pretty awful. So I didn't want to do that because the whole line was just budget and not great. And then I also excluded lines where I felt every single doll from the line was terrible. Because I definitely feel, just like with Monster High, that there were some lines of Ever After High towards the end that just weren't getting the detail and the attention that previous renditions had. So dolls that came from lines that were just overall bad, I wasn't including because it's like, at that point, just roast the entire line, and I want to talk about one doll specifically. So those were kind of my categories that I was looking at for my selection process for these. Also, I do try to make videos that are family-friendly most of the time, but I also kind of am talking mainly to adult doll collectors, so if I make any jokes that are a little bit, less child-friendly, it's not a child-friendly channel all the time. So, with that being said, all of the disclaimers out of the way, let's start having some fun and let's roast some Ever After High dolls. So this first one, we're kind of easing in. This is less of a roast. I don't really have a joke about this. I just had to talk about this doll. It's the original Gingerbread House. And I was staring at this doll for a hot minute and I couldn't figure out why I thought that she looked so bad. I was like, maybe it's just like she's got a lot of really warm colors and then the harsh black doesn't look quite right, and I think that's part of it. But I finally figured it out. And I don't like that all of her colors, except for the harsh black, are very like mid-tone colors. There's not like a whole lot of light variants, not super light colors, like two super dark colors. It's just kind of all this mid-zone. So when I look at her from about this far away, because I'm absolutely blind, but if you look at her from far away, she's kind of just like a blob of the same color value. And it's not a great design because she also has so many different patterns and stuff going on that it's just like, you can't figure out where to focus your eye. It's hard to differentiate between her hair and her glasses because they're the exact same color. So I just wanted to talk about that really fast because she was the first one that I came across that I was like, I don't like the way this doll looks, but it was really hard to pin down why. But yeah, that one's not funny. Sorry, I just didn't love that doll. This one though, Faery Good Fairy, I have some more things to say about. From purely like a color perspective, I think that this is a weird doll. Having all of her colors on her outfit and her hair and everything be blue and then silver and then throwing in like a random pink tone for her skin just looks very odd to me. That could just be me as a person. But I don't like the face that she has going on. I know it's supposed to be a smile, but her eyes just look soulless and dead, which I know a lot of people have that problem with dolls in general. I have never had that problem with most dolls, like obviously like Monster High dolls, Rainbow High dolls, even Ever After High dolls. I don't think that all of them look soulless. Farrah looks soulless. Something about this doll is just not right inside her head. Also, with the wings, I'm assuming she's supposed to be like an actual fairy, given that this is Ever After High, fairy tale land. But nothing about these wings is convincing me that she has actual wings. She looks like she changed her name to Faery Good Fairy to try to be a fairy and then just like slapped on some fake wings and hoped that no one would notice. with that being said, if by some miracle I managed to stumble upon the worst thing possible, and this is like a fairy with prosthetic wings, I'm really sorry. Because that's actually a cool concept. But also, nothing about the design of these wings is making me think that they're prosthetic wings. It just looks like they're fake and bad and cheap. And, Farah, what's happening here? This one I have a lot of feelings about. So this is the Date Night 2-pack with Raven Queen and then Dexter Charming. And I just need to look at the good doll first. Raven Queen, she knows what she's doing. She's showing up to this date. She is dressed well. She's like, I'm gonna look cute for this boy. I'm gonna have a nice jacket. I've got my fishnets and my heels. Like, I'm looking good. Dexter doesn't know what's happening. If you take away his jacket and his crown, this man could have just come from the skate park, which, like, you can go on a date to a skate park, like, that's fine. But obviously that's not where Raven Queen is dressing for. He didn't get the memo that they're going somewhere nice until the last second, and then he threw on what appears to be his uniform school blazer. It doesn't match. It doesn't make any sense. The blazer with the shorts makes me feel physically ill. I know that there are people who do that in real life, and I know that I said I wasn't, like, saying anything personal in this video, but I don't like that, and I don't trust that decision. And he's got the sneakers, too, and he's got, I know it was, like, a 2000s thing. Who knows? Maybe it's still a thing. But, like, the weird, like, printed t-shirt, I don't know. It's just, it's giving me all kinds of, like, bad Chad vibes. And then his hair? You know in cartoons, when a character gets their hair, like, licked by a cow or a horse or something, and it just does, like, a stupid swoop and it looks horrendous? That's what he did on purpose, to go on a date with this beautiful, elegant girl. Like, looking at this 2-pack, I can tell you that she's not going on another date with him. I don't know how that happens in the series, but just based upon this 2-pack, this is the end of their relationship. Okay, so the last Raven Queen looked really good. This one less. This is the Raven Queen Enchanted Picnic doll. And I do want to say I don't have a problem inherently with, like, the print or anything. I actually think that the purple gingham with the little ravens on it is kind of a cool concept. But I looked through every Ever After High doll to make this video to find the worst ones. And every other rendition of Raven Queen has her style being very, like, sleek, kind of elegant, a little bit, you know, gothic sometimes, but definitely more, sleek is the only word that I can think of. It's just not the big poofy frilly, like, that's not her thing, except in this line, I guess. It's just so jarring because from the other dolls alone, like I said, not having seen the show, she doesn't seem like this kind of person. This is like if you threw me into a tutu. I'd be so uncomfortable. It's just like, she looks wrong. It looks like someone else dressed her, but then she threw on a fake smile about it to be nice, but I feel like she's not the kind of person to just be nice about that. There's no reason that she would genuinely wear this, and it, like, not even being a part of the show's fandom, it takes me out of that reality of, like, oh, something is terribly, terribly wrong here. That's not what you want from a doll. You don't want to look at a doll and be taken out of the magical realm that they live in. I want to go in there. Don't do this to me. I feel like I don't have to say a whole lot about this one. This is from the Birthday Ball line. This is Blondie Locks. You might notice that she doesn't have blonde locks. I know that obviously, like, characters can change their hair color, real people can change their hair color, but her name is Blondie Locks. I'm assuming she's supposed to be the daughter of Goldilocks. Why would you take away her defining characteristic of having blonde hair? As far as I noticed, all of her other dolls had blonde hair because that's literally in her name. And, like, in the real world, your name doesn't dictate how you have to look, but she's a character. Her character design is to have blonde hair, and they couldn't even get that most basic component right. I'm genuinely seething about this. This one has haunted my dreams for the past 2 nights while I, like, got ready to film. Literally the first thing you're doing if you design a Blondie Locks doll is give her blonde hair. If you wanted to give her a blue streak, like, that would be fine. That would be, you know, add some color in there. Or even, like, an undertone or something. But to get rid of all of her blonde hair? Who did this? Why? Okay, this is the last one, and I have feelings. I know that mermaid dolls are tricky. I really do, because it's like, on the one hand, you want it to have good playability, but also like a mermaid, so you want her to have a tail. And then there's also the factor of if she has like an actual tail and not legs, do you want fabric or plastic, or like how are you gonna make this happen? I feel like I've seen a lot of people not like the original Michelle Mermaid doll. I actually thought that that was like a fairly good design for her, because it looked like she had a tail, but she did have legs, and you definitely got that full-on mermaid vibe. I understand why it wouldn't be everybody's favorite, but this... If her name wasn't literally Michelle Mermaid, I never on my life would have guessed that this was supposed to be a mermaid-themed doll. She has legs, only legs. She doesn't even have like a mermaid sort of shape to her skirt to kind of indicate that presence like she did in her original doll. Sure, she has some seashells going on, but I like seashells. Like, that doesn't make me a mermaid. It's not enough. I just don't see why you would make a mermaid doll without even putting in the slightest bit of effort to make her a mermaid proper. Again, like, I know sometimes, like, depending on the story, mermaids can go from having a tail to having legs, but I just feel like for the design of a doll, because not everybody has seen your show, that's not a good choice, is to just give your mermaid doll no indication whatsoever of being a mermaid other than the occasional seashell on her outfit. And then when you come to the outfit, it's also just awful. The skirt flares out wildly, which again doesn't fit with like the mermaid theme, but also just doesn't make sense. It's not cut kind of like princessy, like a ball gown sort of cut exactly. It really does just look like me with no sewing experience decided, okay, I have some tulle, so I'm going to use that for volume, and then I'm just going to throw some fabric around my waist and hope that it looks like a skirt. And then she's got this weird like vest situation going on. I don't know where that came from. Maybe that's part of her personality, but again, like, from just looking at this, for the mermaid trope, the vest, I'm not seeing the connection here. I feel like there was literally so much, or so little effort put into this doll that there was no point in making her whatsoever. She might as well not exist. That might have been kinder for her. So, we're gonna breathe. We're gonna let all that anger go. We've let it out into the universe now. I've passed it along to you. Sorry. And then we're just gonna be calm. I'm glad I could get all that out. I had a lot of feelings after looking at some of these dolls. Definitely let me know down in the comments how you feel about all of these. If I insulted one of your favorite dolls, again, I am really sorry. But I feel like some of these you guys definitely have to agree with me on. Like, I'm sure I'm crazy about some, but other ones I know I'm right. I know that these were poorly designed. So let me know how you're feeling down below. But yes, guys, I hope you enjoyed hearing me scream again. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, or your night, or whatever it might be. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys!